Talk about the shoes with confidence. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Man Takes Shoes Out of Box, the episode where you get to sit there and watch me take a pair of shoes out of a box and tell you what I think of them. Today we are talking about these, the Nike Air Max 95 SB in the Cactus Flower colorway. It's a big year for Air Max 95s this year. It's the 30th anniversary of the model, and to celebrate, Nike have been going hard with the retroing of OG releases, a lot of really cool collaborations, and this particular model here, the first coming together of the Air Max 95 and the Nike SB department. We've seen this inter-division bonding from Nike in recent times play out very successfully on the Air Jordan 4 SB. This was the shoe of the year in 2023, taking a cult classic sneaker and then retooling it, modifying it for skating has been a recipe for success for Nike. It was only inevitable that these two things were going to come together. And so I am really excited about this sneaker. Right now, even though these shoes have been retooled and modified for skating, 80% of the people that bought this shoe aren't going to skate them. But if you're like me and you like the Air Max 95, but you don't really find them that comfortable, this shoe is like the number one option out there, because this shoe has actually made the Air Max 95 way more comfortable, way more wearable, and hopefully, it at least contrasts to some of the reports I've seen out there, way more durable. So let's talk about the release, because these things have been kind of staggered in the way that they've come out. So they come out a few weeks ago here in the UK through skate shops, and then we had a Nike Sneakers app release a couple of weeks ago. In the US, it was something similar, where 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think you guys had the skate shop releases, and then on the 22nd, just recently, you had the Nike Sneakers app release. This shoe has been somewhat staggered in the way that it has rolled out. Initially, these things sold out, but over the past week, I've actually seen skate shops load up popular sizes back onto their respective websites. These are currently in the resale market for retail, maybe a little bit over, a little bit under, perhaps in certain places. And so, at least from a resale point of view, these have not done anything near the type of successful numbers that the Air Jordan 4 Pine Greens did back in 2023. And I can't say this enough. This is a fantastic thing, because I actually missed out on these initially when they sold out. I was wondering whether or not I wanted to overpay on the resale market. I stayed patient, waited for the dust to settle a little bit on the drop, and now, lo and behold, they're out there available for retail. So I picked these up for retail off a reseller buddy of mine. Now, in true Sneakernomics fashion, this review is pretty late. I'm not gonna bore you guys to death by telling you the same stuff about the shoe that you've already heard time and again. But I will say about the shoe is I think this colorway is really fire. I think it's really wearable, it's really simple. It's a combination of like bones and grays and blacks, and then this cactus flower, which is a little bit like a purple or a little bit like a fuchsia type mixture. It's just a nice little contrast. And then you've got the gum sole to finish it off. I just think the colorway is really wearable. In terms of the like construction of the shoe, it's Air Max 95 energy all over. There's not really much to separate the aesthetic prima facie. It's really when you get into the details that you notice some of the differences from your regular inline Air Max 95. So let's talk a little bit about how these have been modified for skating. First and foremost, with the outsole. So the traction pattern has been grinded down a little bit to give the sole a little bit more of a softer feel, not quite as rugged an outsole traction pattern as you're used to seeing on the Air Max 95s. The midsole tooling, from what I've been made aware, is pretty much exactly the same, as are the upper materials. The only thing I can really discern tooling wise is that the ankle collar padding isn't quite so thick and bulbous. Like, these have been sort of streamlined a little bit, it seems, to make them a little bit more wearable. The upper materials are really robust. You've got a combination of suede around the toe box, and then you've got some different nubuck suedes that work their way up the gradient. You've got a really tough treated leather on the black portion of the upper, and then you've got the various types of mesh, a smaller mesh overlay featuring in the whites, and then a thicker mesh underlay in the black. You've got some reflective details on the tongue in a synthetic sort of 3M fashion. You've got the regular Air Max 95 tongue. The tongue does also have the like lockdown elastic down towards the footbed. which features in that mesh material, meaning that you've got no crooked tongue action. In terms of the SB branding, the Nike SB Air on the back, the regular Air Max 95 branding on the tongue, a little bit of SB branding on the sole of the shoe, then some SB co-branding on the insole. Now the insole itself is quite nice. I really noticed this when I put these on foot. Nice squishy insole. It's a really nice shoe. In terms of the fits and the comfort, this is what I was really interested in. Most Air Max 95s, in my opinion, fits quite narrow, and they also fit even a little bit small, if not true to size. I went true to size with these, and my goodness, the fit on these is absolutely fantastic. I love just a little bit of room around the toe box to be able to wriggle my toes. I hate when Air Max 95s sort of cinch in on the forefoot. I'm not a big fan of the squeaking and the rubbing that you generally get from the Air Max 95. So in terms of the fit, going true to size is absolutely fine in my opinion. They fit fantastically. True to size, they feel a little bit wider in the forefoot compared to regular Air Max 95s, which I think was a design feature to make these a little bit more skatable. They feel soft underfoot. They also feel a little bit more stable thanks to the slightly more worn down traction pattern on the outsole. So compared to a regular Air Max 95, these are way more comfortable in my opinion. So I think the colorway is fantastic. I think the materials are really nice. I think the comfort is fantastic. What about the quality control? So generally speaking, the quality on the leathers and the nubucks and the suedes is really good. The only like QC issue I've got on mine is that little glue mark you can see around the front there, which is, yeah, I guess gonna happen every now and then with pairs that are mass produced like this. But generally speaking, the quality control on my pair is really nice. The quality of the materials are really good, which is what you would hope for given these were 185 pounds or right around $200. In terms of the collectability, yeah man, these are mad collectible. If you're an Air Max 95 collector, this shoe is gonna be a bit of a no-brainer. If you're an SB collector, this is gonna be a no-brainer. If you're just someone that likes to have a little bit of history, this being the first time the Nike SB departments have collaborated with the Nike running department on the Air Max 95. Bro, it's a fusion of two incredibly rich heritage divisions of the Nike sportswear brand. Speaking briefly about the resale market, as I said before, these things are out there on certain skate shop websites. I feel like people were maybe thinking these were going to do some numbers in the resale markets. They haven't, so people have ended up just returning them because it's 185 pounds or 200 bucks. Doesn't seem like people are looking to hold these for the long term to make some money. Maybe in the long term, like give it a year or two, this shoe could very well become a very desirable shoe. I do think it's a really wearable colorway, and because they're so comfortable and so wearable, I feel like a lot of people out there would be quite happy to double up on this type of a pair. How successful a crossover are these compared to the Air Jordan 4s? I think, honestly, they really knocked it out the park with both the Jordan 4 SBs and the Air Max 95 SBs. They've really brought a new sense of energy into the Jordan 4 with the SB line. And I feel like with the SB line on the Air Max 95, they've done exactly the same thing. So I feel like even though they haven't been as successful as the Pine Greens in terms of like resale and demand, just having worn these a little bit now, having chucked them on, I do really feel like they've made such good improvements to make the shoe more wearable. So funny that all the modifications they had to make to the shoe to make it more walkable was to design it for a sports that doesn't involve any walking. Crazy. And so where does this rank in like shoes of the year? Honestly, at the moment, I would put these in my top 10 sneakers to release this year so far lists. Honestly, it was really when I put these things on, I was like, oh my gosh, they're a bit wider. Oh my gosh, they fit a little bit nicer. They're not so puffed up and padded up around the ankle collar. They slip on nicely. They feel squishy. Like, bro, when I put these on, I was like, yes, this is a shoe I can see myself wearing all day. And just the colorway slaps. So definitely, in my opinion, a top 10 sneaker of the year to release. The fact that they're available as well and they're not going nuts in the resale markets only like furthers that positioning, in my opinion. Had these been way more limited and way harder to get your hands on, it wouldn't have been as awesome a release, in my opinion. The fact that a lot of people got their hands on these and you still can get your hands on these is a great sign of the time. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Really looking forward to breaking these out imminently. I'm gonna chuck these on today, in fact. So yeah, that's my review. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought down below. And as always, I appreciate you messing with the content. Do me a favor and like the video before you bounce, and I will see you on the next one. Take care for now, and peace.